All right, hello world, hello world. How are you all today? I wanted to welcome you all back to our second exciting day. We had a great time last night on our first day, but today's going to be even better, even tons better, because today a lot of the questions that you guys have are going to be answered. We had board game inventors and potential board game makers that wanted to know about manufacturing. How do you get your game manufactured? What type of things do you have to be aware of? And you guys are in luck today because we have one of the premier manufacturers in the game business with us today. First of all, I want to introduce a very, very special guest who has come to us early in the morning from from where he is. I want to introduce you all to my friend, Mr. Jeff Zoe. And now I want to let you know he's from Boda Games, which is a board game and card game manufacturer. His factory specializes in the production of the highest quality board games and card games. For over 10 years, he has worked with publishers around the world on their products. Altogether, they have created hundreds of amazing games. And if you are a game publisher looking for high quality, detail-oriented, and enthusiastic manufacturers to make your next game, then Boda Game Manufacturing would love a chance to talk to you. So, Mr. Jeff Zoe, how are you today?
Yeah, I'm good, and I'm glad to be with you. So I'm from China, so it is a long distance. It is 7 a.m. here in China, so it's the daytime. Anyway, I'm very glad to be here. Like Elliot introduced, we are a game manufacturer from China. We are in this business for around 10 years, and in past 10 years, we grow together with the game business. So you can see in past 10 years, the game business developed pretty fast. So first is why we are in this business. It is by chance. This is a family-owned business. At first, we just make the packagings for some cosmetic brands. By chance, people ask us to make boxes for board games. So I'm thinking, why we just do the simple packaging? We can make the games like the final products. That's why we go into this business. And at the beginning, we are not well educated in the market. So we work with like Ludofact China. We help them to make some game components or something like that. And after a while, we think we are well educated. So we go out to find clients directly. We go to a lot of conventions and do a lot of advertisement online, but we focus on high quality board games and card games. So in past 10 years, I think we work with pretty a lot of publishers in United States, like Exploding Kittens, like Brother Wise Games, Catalyst Game Lab, Crypto Dog, IDW, Yellow Gray Fox, Panda Sauce, Jasco Games, Level 99, and etc. So, so we offer clients like one-stop solution. Once you have an idea or something like that, you can find us and we can tell you what we can do, how to make it cost effectively, and make some good suggestion to make it good. People wondering why they should purchase games from China, not in the locally. So that's why I wanted to be here, let you know our advantage and disadvantage. Board game is a very complex game. They have a lot of components. So in China, we have very good supplier chains. That means all the things can be found in China, like some unique things. This is good. And also the price from China, it is very competitive. The disadvantage, I think, is the distance, because we are in the far distance. So if you want to make the games from China, I think you should prepare for like extra 45 days for the sea freight delivery for making your price cost effectively. So what we make in-house, like we make different boxes. We can make a normal setup box and magnet closure box, and also tin boxes. That is the boxes. And with the box, you can have different kind of finishing, like the linen finishing, or the spot UV, or the glossy matte varnish or lamination. This is the box, and for cards, we have different card stock from the ivory core to black core in different grams, like 280, 300, 350, depends on card size and quality you required. And also punched board. Punched board is we just use thick board, like 2mm or even 4mm. You can use them to punch into different tokens with nice pictures for playing. And for game board, it is also a very important game element for board game. So we think the game board, the most important thing is to keep it as flat as possible. And that is what we can ensure. Despite that, we can also provide you different tray plane like paper, plastic, and wooden meeples by laser cut, or coins by lace, and plastic items, cubes, discs, miniatures. So we offer clients, like I said, one-stop solution from the production, pre-production consultation, artwork guide for Kickstarters. You also might want to know the delivery. We can help you to do some promotional items, helping you to talk with some fulfillment centers, not only in US, but also Europe, China. And we also welcome different publishers to come to our factory during the production, so you can see your see your own game, how it's to be made, and you can understand more about the game manufacturing. We also provide a sample box for everyone who is curious to see and learn about our production capacity, and it is free of charge. So anyone wanted to ask for that, you can ask from our website. And also, you wanted to know how to find us and how to reach us. And Boda sales staff will be at all the major conventions, from Nuremberg Toy Fair, New York Toy Fair, Gen Con, Essen, Origins, etc. You can find more on our website, and we can also schedule a meeting at the convention. And we are also available for a Skype call or Zoom conference. Then you can also send us message on Facebook or even direct us through our website. So that is all I want to briefly introduce us to you. And then I think I should leave some time to you to see if you have any questions.
Thank you so much for that. That's all right. That was great information. So there are a few questions that we have that we want to get some that we want to ask you to get some answers to. Yeah. So we have a few new game creators. So the first question that they have is, when a creator contacts you and they're interested in getting this, maybe a first-time creator, they're interested in getting their game made with you, what type of questions will you ask them? What type of information do they need to have ready in order to talk with you about creating their games?
So when they wanted to make an investor game, firstly, they should have a briefly idea, like different game components. So they just send us like a simple spreadsheet, say which kind of things they want in the game. And we will fastly go through that. And then we will give them our suggestion. Maybe some parts they can change to other elements, making it cost effective. For big conference, like for cards, once we set up onto our machine, we set up like 55 cards. So the best quantity would be 55. So if you develop a game which have 50 cards, we can say, oh, you can make it into 55, because one sheet, the machine takes out 55. The price for 55 is almost the same compared to 50. So you can have 4 more cards for promo or other things. And if sometimes you make it into 57 cards, then we say it would be better to reduce it into 55 cards, because then it helps you to save one sheet cost.
Okay, okay. So since you mentioned about a card game, I know that we have a couple of card game inventors. So now if they have a card game, then let's say their card game has 55 cards on it. Do they have, is there a special format they have to provide you? If let's say each one of those cards is like, has different information on it, so each card is an individual, what type of format do they have to provide to you for their cards or any type of graphics?
We prefer to send us the PDF file. Say if they have 55 cards, they just put 50 cards on that PDF file. Even they are multiple, so they just put that 50 cards in one file.
Okay, so are you going to be able to tell them, because I guess with cards, a lot of the cost would depend on the weight of the cards and whether they're laminated and all that stuff. Is this something that you would go over with them and show them different ways that it can be done for different costs?
Yeah, sure. So like I said, you can request for the sample box. On the sample box, then you can see different card stock from 300 to 350 and different finishing like linen or varnish, also PVC cards.
Okay.
Different cards, the higher grams mean thicker, stronger, but for sure the price would be more expensive. And normally we recommend people to use 300 GSM paper for the normal 2.5 times 3.5 size.
Okay, that's about the size of a business card, right?
Slightly bigger, just similar to the poker cards.
Okay, okay. And that's great that you actually provide samples, because you know that's a big thing, especially when your first time, you want to see what it looks like. And you said you provide that to the people at no cost?
Yeah, no cost.
Wow, that's incredible. That's a great service right there. So let me ask you a little bit about the boards for board games. So traditionally, most people use chipboard for a board game. What if you were trying to do something a little bit different? What if you were trying to cut costs? Could you do something like a vinyl mat or the type of material that they use for mouse pads and that sort of thing? What other options do people have?
Yeah, sure. So board game, the game board is important. Most for normal games, they just select like 2.0 millimeter thickness chipboard. That is very common. And if you want to make it unique, we can firstly think different kind of finishing on that. Like we do a game called Shadowrun, we can add like foiling paper for that. So in different lights, you will see different effect that looks different. And you can also use some spot UV to highlight the area you want to attract people's eyes. And if you want to do some upgrade, like for some stretch goals on Kickstarter, you can do the play mat like the mouse pad.
Okay, so you would actually do the printing on top of the mouse pads themselves?
Yeah. We just, it is also the printing. So we printing on the clothes and mount it into the Nephilim material, so to make it into the mouse pad.
Okay, now are those, is something like that a little bit more cost effective than maybe a chipboard board?
Yeah, for sure, chipboard is cheaper compared to the mouse pad because the material cost for mouse pad is very expensive. That's why people just use that for the stretch goals, not for the normal games.
Okay. So guys, one of the things that's important to know what he's talking about is some of you guys are going to look at different ways to finance your game. So there are crowdfunding ways that you can finance through, let's say, an Indiegogo or through a Kickstarter, which if you don't know about that, go ahead and research that. So what he's saying that, you know, when you do those, you give away certain rewards for anybody who gives you certain things. So for example, if they donate $45, maybe you give them a game. But if they pledge $85, maybe you give them something. He's talking about stretch goals, something nicer, maybe something a little bit harder or more shellacked or a different form. So this is another way that this company will help you do your Kickstarter so that they're helping you get the money you need to go into manufacturing. Is that right?
Yeah, sure. The budget is very important. So we can help you together develop the game under your budget and discuss with different options for the stretch goals.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, so now let's talk about shipping. Most people, when they think of doing international manufacturing, the pricing is so great. you know, compared to trying to get it done in the US, the pricing is incredibly low. So it's great pricing. How do we know how to figure out, how does the shipping figure in there? Do you give us an estimate for shipping, or how does the shipping fit in there? Because that's an extra cost.
Yeah, so that is the extra cost. We make games, so we talk with shipping forwarders who help us to deliver the games to you. There are different terms, like you can pick up the games from our factory, or we deliver the game to the port in China, you arrange the rest, and we can also do a kind of delivery terms called DDU, means delivered to your door with tax unpaid. So that is the different shipping terms.
So when someone comes to you and say, hey, Jeff, I want to order X amount of games, they need to make sure that they ask about the shipping terms, or is that something you'll automatically talk to them about as well?
We need to discuss, because different companies, different people wanted to have different terms. So we will ask which kind of delivery terms you want us to quote, then we will build that price.
Okay. See, and for everybody that's listening, that's another thing that's very important. I have a friend who had her game shipped from China, but the person never talked about shipping. So when they got there, there was an extra charge that she had no idea that was there. So all of her calculations from the campaign and all that went out the door because she had an extra charge. So for Boda Games, what they're saying is that if you're working with them, they will automatically include shipping as part of the conversation that you need to have.
Sure.
So now you said that you have to allow for maybe 45 days for sea shipping, over the water shipping. So does that mean that there's more than one way to do shipping? What if you needed it quicker than 45 days?
If you want to do quicker, then you have the air freight, but it is much more expensive compared to sea freight. We do not recommend you to do that, because every penny is very important for you. So if you can well prepared your turnaround, your time, the best way is to do sea freight. For air freight, we do that pretty frequently before the convention. Say some game publishers, they have the game to be made, but it delayed, and they want to sell in like Essen or Origins or Gen Con. Then they just ask us to deliver just a pallet of games by air for the selling on the convention.
Okay, so you hear that, people. That means that when you're dealing with manufacturing of board games, the better you plan, the less money you spend. So
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Don't wait till the last second. Don't wait till the last second, because you need time, right? Okay, so let me ask you this. Some other people might ask about well, I guess it will fall under quality control. What if they're ordering games? How do they know that perhaps when all of the games if they order, let's say 5,000 games, that when 5,000 games get here, that they're all in sellable or sellable in a sellable position, or how would we say that they're all, you know, ready to be sold?
Yeah. So the quality is always the most important thing, because you wanted to buy it from China for cheap price, but not cheap quality. And cheap quality is not what we are offering. So the good quality is always very important, together with competitive price. Our process is, firstly, before we start the mass production, we will make a pre-production, say a sample for you. So with a sample, you should have know all your game components, how they would look like. And in that process, we can have the same image about what it would turn out. Once the sample approved, we will go to the mass production. So we have terms of experience in doing that, and we have our particular way to control the quality. Once the game finished, we will send you one mass production sample to you again for you to double check for making sure everything is good. So once that is approved, then we go to the sea freight delivery or air freight delivery, say delivery terms. And reputation is very important, because the game market is not that big. It is a small market. So select a good manufacturer is very important. And for us, we will ensure you everything will be good. If not, you can always talk with us. We are here for more than 10 years, and the reputation is very important for us. So never worried about that.
Yeah. Okay. But you bring up something wonderful, because I was going to ask you about customer service. Should people be worried about, I know sometimes we think because we're in a different country, should they be worried about being able to get in touch with you throughout the process? I mean, is it something once they place the order, or do you guys let them know where they are in the process as different things are happening, and keep them abreast of what the ETAs are?
Yeah, sure. So once we, before the production, we will just give you an estimate time from the sampling and the mass production. Or maybe for miniatures, we will also let you know the molding time. So you will have the ETD estimate time for departure.
Okay. All right. So now what about product? Sometimes I've heard that when things are going overseas, sometimes you might have a rough storm and some stuff goes overboard, and not all of the products or orders may arrive. If something like that happens, how does Boda Game deal with that with the game maker?
So that doesn't happen frequently, so that is, but for every delivery, we will buy for the insurance. Say the insurance is like just 10% more than the real volume. So for example, if there is something happens, we can help to talk with the insurance company, and they will pay for that.
Okay. So they can be rest assured that if something happened, the worst case scenario is that it would just add a little bit more time onto how long it takes them to get their order.
Yeah.
Okay. And specifically for card games, so is it safe to say that for a board game and a card game, there's a major difference in the cost, in just that there's less pieces, or less, there are fewer things that you have to produce for it, if that makes sense? So if I have a card game, I guess that would just be the cards in the boxes, and depending on what type of weight the cards are and what type of gloss is on the cards, that's one thing.
Yeah.
And if it was the board game, I would have to consider more pieces. So
Yeah.
so that means necessarily, does it mean that a card game is a little less expensive to make than a board game?
It's hard to say. For board game, we always need to see the spreadsheets for all the components. For a card game, you can see it is only cards. But if you have 1,000 cards in one card game, so anyway, it is a very expensive card game.
Okay. We have a question from another one of our attendees. Does Boda Games cover the development for the art, or does the creator have to cover that themselves?
We do not develop the artwork. We just you need to create that.
Okay, so so you don't offer that service. Your service is just manufacturing what you're given.
Yeah, we just do manufacturing, not the artwork design or something like that.
Okay. So if there was, let's say, if we gave some artwork and you found something wrong in the artwork, that means you would give it back to the customer and tell them that they need to fix it?
Yeah, sure. That is what we will do. We have in-house graphics, but they just do the layout, check the files to see if it is correct. If not, then we will let you know. Or you can also let us to talk with your graphic directly. We will tell them how to make this kind of bleeding or margin, and you can also see the artwork guide in our website to see how you should do the artwork.
Okay, so let's talk about the website information and the contact information real quick before I ask any more questions. Can you please give everyone the website you'd like them to go to, which I have, and I'm just going to type it in after you say it, and your email address, or email address that they can contact you guys and ask some more questions. We have some questions about that.
Yeah, sure. So I just type my website. This is our website. You can find all those informations like I mentioned in our website. And here is our email. So you can send email to us. We will definitely back to you within 24 hours.
Oh, that's good. That's great, actually. So you're ready to go as long as we're ready to go.
Yeah, sure. So we are, like I said, we are in long distance. So the communication is very important. You wanted to buy things from China, but you wanted to make sure everything we understand what you want. So that's why I think communication is very important.
Yeah.
And in Boda, there is no communication issues for manufacturing.
That is great. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have talked with a company that has been in the business for 10 plus years, and you don't get to stay in business for that long if you're not doing the right thing. So, first of all, we wanted to say thank you to our friend Jeff, and I want to make sure that everybody knows. Go ahead and look in the comments at www.bodagames. That's BODA Games.com. And you can contact them at info@bodagames.com. Remember, he's also said that if you have questions, you can go ahead and ask those. If you have a game and you need to get a quote, you'll answer those as well. Will you not? Is that right, Jeff? So if they have some quotes, your company gives them quotes on. So now, just on the quotes, if someone is getting a quote from you, should they be going after quotes for, let's say, 500, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, and 5,000?
Yeah, sure. We start from normally we say we start from 1,000.
From which one?
From 1,000.
Okay. So the least amount, and this might help somebody as well. If you're going in to do a board game or you're going into do a card game and have that manufactured, what is the least amount that you might want to consider ordering in order to get a good price on what you're doing? Because the less you order, the higher the price. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. And why we say 1,000 is if you just buy 500, because there is minimum delivery cost from China to the States, there is tracking fee from our factory to the port, there is sea freight cost, and there is custom cost, and also the tracking fee from port in US to your warehouse. In my experience, the minimum delivery cost by sea freight, including tracking fee, is like $800 or $1,000, depends on where you are. So if you order very small quantity, it is not cost effective to make it in China. That's why we say minimum to be 1,000. It would be a good to start. And the more you order, the price goes down for sure. And I personally think, in my experience, I think once your quantity reach 5,000, then the curves down like that. But before 5,000, the price reduce rapidly according to the quantity increase.
Okay, and actually, that's not as bad as I thought when you say that to go all of the shipping from getting it from your doorstep down at least to the port. Perhaps that'll be 800, 1,000. I guess I know that there could be some variations in there, but even that from shipping to come from China is not as expensive as I thought. I thought you were gonna say like $5,000, $6,000.
$6,000, I think it is for a big container from China to the States.
As if you get 1,000,000 copies. So if you're going to order that million, the whole millions, you'll get a definite great price on the game. You might be paying a little bit more for the shipping, and you'll have to store that big container somewhere.
Yeah,
that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Because as game makers, we know that $800. So let's say you ordered 2,000 games, you divide that $800 by that just leaves that's very a small amount that you have to make up when you sell it at retail.
800 is the minimum delivery cost. So for 2,000, depends on the game size. Right. If you order big games, maybe 2,000 will fulfill a small container or something like that. Yeah, for normal like 300 by 300 by 70 box, I think one big container can carry something like 6,000 games.
Okay. So keep that in mind, guys, when you're looking at it and when you're thinking about those sort of things. Is there anything else that people need to make sure that they're aware of when they get to the point when it's time to start manufacturing? I mean, we've covered a lot here tonight.
Yes, I think we covered a lot there because in my point of view, everything is very clear. So I do not have any questions about the games. So that's why I prefer you to ask, let
Yeah.
me know what confused you, what you want to know, so I can tell you what we can do for you.
Okay, I think we've covered just about anything. I'll leave another second or two if any of our attendees have any more questions. But you've done a great job in covering all of that. All of the things that I would think of and that I was concerned about as a game inventor, as far as manufacturing, really, I mean, really, you've answered a lot of questions for me. So I would probably be looking at, because I got mines in the States the last time, but I know that the prices that I paid here, I could probably pay so much less going outside. I just wasn't familiar with going international with my manufacturing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So it looks like all of the questions from our attendees have been answered. Now you know who Jeff is. You know Boda Games. We have the website and the email address to contact him. He is going to be gracious and answer all of your questions. I want to say thank you so much for visiting us today early in the morning where you are after you had your coffee. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. We appreciate the information so much.
Yeah, all my pleasure, and I'm glad I can be here. And just one correction, here I do not drink coffee, I drink
Oh,
tea.
that's right. My bad. My bad. I forgot which side of the world I was on. I was talking to. That is great. All right. So thank you so much, Mr. Zhu, and we will appreciate it. And hopefully everybody in here will send this out, make sure everybody gets this information, and we'll make sure that anybody who's interested, go ahead and give you a contact, give you a call, and we'll keep pushing it.
Yeah. All my pleasure. And if you have any question, you can reach us by email or leave message on Facebook.
All right. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful day out there.
Yeah, thank you everyone. And you too have a nice evening, I think.
Yes, evening is good. That's it.
Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
All right, everyone. That was Jeff from Boda Games. I wanted to make sure that we had a manufacturer on here. So as a game creator myself, I have 4 different board games, and I know that there's a number of you who are considering creating your own board games. And the information that we have to get is very important. Thank you, Meldon. I'm glad you found the information I'm glad you found it all very informative. The information, see, most of us don't really know the process, and you can't really find that information online readily, to go from what your idea is into turning it into a board game. And a lot of people get sidetracked, and a lot of people put it down because they don't have the information, and it's so hard to find the information. It's almost like the people who know the information don't want to give it up. And then, you go through, and this can be a costly thing if you don't have the right information. So as I've been saying in the emails that I've sent, and as I've been saying in the advertising marketing that I've been done, the toy and card game industry is a $12 billion a year industry. $12 billion. And I'm not talking about video games. I'm not talking about video games or any of those at all. I'm just talking about tabletop board games and card games, things like Trivial Pursuit and the Game of Life and Monopoly. 12 billion. The industry says that over the next 4 years, actually from now to 2023, that is going to increase by $5.9 billion. Just in that. And they did this study before the corona. So the corona didn't even figure in how many people are actually in the house and staying in the house, and how it was going to change our society. Now that our society has changed a little bit because of the pandemic, that number may go up a little bit more, but that's neither here nor there. The point is, if you have a board game idea, and there are so many different creative things, if you have a board game idea, then I think you kind of owe it to yourself to investigate what you can do to bring that board game to life. I had an idea for something that was not out on the market. I created a game called the Entrepreneur Game, which teaches people how to create their own home-based and brick and mortar businesses, and then grow those businesses into empires. And then you learn things like marketing and investing, decision-making, all types of different things. And the beauty of it is, and it's STEM certified, the beauty of it is there was nothing like that on the market. So your ideas are like that as well. So what we need to know in order to get those things to market is what is involved. And I think manufacturing is the most costly part of getting that to market. That's why it was so important that we talked about manufacturing tonight. So you have overseas manufacturing. You also have domestic manufacturing. There's a little bit less, there are less domestic manufacturers. However, I have a domestic manufacturer who's sending me information. He is from he is from Chicago Game and Board. He does some here. He actually does some overseas as well, but he also does some here. And there are manufacturers around like Delano Printing. So there are other people that you can go to here in the States and compare prices. So if you have a game, once you've gotten your game together, you've gotten it down, you've played with your prototype, you've done your market research, I would tell you to check with a couple of manufacturers, check with a Boda Games and find out. You'll find that the pricing internationally is very competitive, very, very competitive. Then it's just a matter of how you feel about getting your product from overseas, which that's going to be a personal choice, because I've seen product that's come from China, and it's actually excellent product. I have games downstairs that were manufactured overseas, and they're excellent products. So I hope you've gotten the information that you need for manufacturing. We're going to be ending this one tonight a little bit earlier. But if there's any other information about manufacturing, you can email me. I'll be happy to answer your questions. Looks like we have one question. Okay, so that's Mark. You agree? Thank you for agreeing, Mark. I am going to put in my information. It is info@entrepreneurboardgame.com. ENTREPRENEUR boardgame.com. So if you have any questions for me as far as creating a board game, and that's what this is about, talking to board game manufacturers, talking to board game creators, independent ones, to give us an idea of what it was like for them. Last night we had April Prayer, who did a wonderful job sharing her board game with us, Trials and Triumph, at Just Us Junkie, JUSTUS Junkie, JUNKIE.store. Tomorrow evening, we have an incredible one. We have Mr. Freddie Taylor that's coming in from Urban Intellectuals, and he has done a card game. He has done a card game called Black History Card Game. His card game has sold over 200,000 copies. 200,000 copies. Now, you know the game is more than $5 each. So, 200,000 copies, you do the math. The brother has done some amazing things with his game. So I think it's important that we get information from him. Thursday, we have another board game creator named Zach Edwards, who is from Historical Conquest, with one of the most incredible card games. It's actually kind of interesting what he done. He has a card game, but it also has a board to it. And he's built it out so incredibly. My goodness. His website is historicalconquest.com. You don't want to miss those two. And then Friday we have another game. We have another game presenter from Park Smarts from Kids, Miss Dodie Long, and we will be hearing from Chicago Board and Game manufacturer. So this is not over. It's just Tuesday. We have tons more information for all of you. And the point is, we want you to feel free enough to be able to create your board game, get it around the world, and get your part of this, extra $5.9 billion that they just throwing around. Big numbers they throwing around. I think that's more than Kanye West just said he's worth. He's 5.9. That'll put his little $3 billion, to the side. All right. So if there's any other, yes, I said Just Us Junkie. So it's www.justusjunkie.store. And hers is called Trials and Triumphs. And it's an incredible game. I've never seen anything like it. It teaches children, people all together, but especially children, how to react to and how to go about dealing with the cops, dealing with the law, dealing with various legal situations that they may run into. It's just an incredible. You really need to go to our website and see it. It's incredible. She's a criminal justice lawyer in Chicago, and she's been at her law firm for 20 years. And she does a bunch of videos and a lot of work trying to help keep kids on the straight and narrow. So It is incredible. No problem, Mark. Thank you for asking. Thank you, everybody, again for coming out to the second day of the summit. We have more great things to come. You have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and hopefully I will see all of you guys back here tomorrow evening, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a wonderful evening, everyone. Stay safe. See you tomorrow, Melvin. Stay safe, everyone. Be blessed.